now I'd like to call the school board meeting to order for today, which is April the 25th. And we have Kylie Thomas, who is a student at Garden Grove Elementary. Kylie, want to come up and lead us in Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Kylie, you really are tall. How tall are you think?
I'm not sure.
Well, you really are cute.
Thank you.
And you go to Garden Grove.
Yes.
And what grade are you in, honey?
4th grade.
4th grade. And what is your favorite subject in school?
Science.
Science. And what do you want to do with that when you become an adult? Do you know yet?
Yes, I want to become a nurse in the Regency.
All right. So you just never know. We need to be very nice to you, right? And who did you bring with you today, honey?
I brought my brother. His name is Keaton. And I brought my grandmother, and her name is Debbie.
Tell them to stand. How about having them to stand so we can see who they are? You did an amazing job today. We really appreciate you being here, honey.
Thank you.
We wish you very, very good for the summer, okay? Have a great summer.
You too.
All right. Let's give her another hand, please. All right, the next item on our agenda is to accept the agenda for today's school board meeting. And we have some revisions.
Yes, we do. Item C11, approve the minutes of the April 11, 2017 work session, remove item. Item C14, administrators add backup. Item C64, recommendations for non-instructional personnel, replace backup. Item R71, continuation of the Fiddler's Grant, add item.
Thank you, Ms. Jackie. And what's the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda for today, which is April the 25th, 2017, with the revisions as noted.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept today's agenda with the revisions that were just read. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And Ms. Jackie, I know we have quite a few special recognitions today.
Yes, we do, and it's wonderful to have them today. First, I would like to ask Lynn Wilson to please step to the front for our special recognitions. Next, would Beth Cummings, Director of Fine Arts, please come forward for the Harrison School of the Arts Women's Course recognition.
Thank you, Mrs. Byrd, Madam Chairman, distinguished school board members. Mrs. Cunningham has already given you the
Sorry.
gist. No, it's perfect.
Sorry.
It comes off much better from you anyway, right?
I just wanted the kids to be recognized.
Yes, and so I want to make it known to everyone how very, very proud we are of the Harrison Women's Choir. Because not only did they go and sing at the National ACDA Convention, but they've also sung at the Florida State ACDA Convention, and they sang last year in Chattanooga at the Southern Division ACDA Convention. So I think they've done it about all of it now with the ACDA Convention. And I think it's notable that the day that we were up in Minneapolis, the high was 11 degrees. So here's all these gorgeous little girls and these little things, they're just running between things, but it was wonderful. I do want to bring up Mr. Ridgely to thank him. It is his attention to detail. It is the great literature that he picks, the way he reacts to the kids. You should have seen him over in the Apple a Day, just rehearsing a while ago, talking about all the things that we want to make sure, tall vowels, round sound, deep breathing, sing that high note, all of this in about 10 minutes before they came in here. But it is just a great representation of what goes on in Polk County Public Schools. Certainly this is one of our best. We want you to see that, and we want to celebrate the great things that go on. So without further ado, this is Mr. Chris Ridgely and his principal, Dr. Darrell Ward.
start.
Thank you.
At this time, I ask Amy Heiser Myers, principal of Horizons Elementary, to step forward for our outstanding school volunteer recognition.
Good evening. Thank you, Mrs. Byrd, Board. It is with enthusiasm to be able to acknowledge James Watkins as our 2016-17 Outstanding School Volunteer, recognized by the state of Florida. And I just would like to have a few moments just to share some of James's experiences at Horizons Elementary. I think by this time, James has volunteered over 400 hours to Horizons Elementary in a variety of different capacities, from assisting in the classrooms to making teacher copies, to being a role model not only to all of our students during the day, but also of our Boys of Integrity, which is our after-school program for our 4th and 5th grade boys. You'll find his assistance in the holiday parades, the MLK parades that we participate in Davenport. And James is a very familiar face on campus. And one of the things that James has proven to all students, that there is no such thing as a glass ceiling. That glass ceiling is meant to be shattered, and he has shattered that every single day he's on our campus. So it is with great pleasure to introduce Mr. James Watkins. Thank you.
Congratulations, James.
Would Beth Cummings, Director of Fine Arts, and Darrell Ward, Principal of Harrison School of the Arts, come to the lectern for the Florida Arts Model School recognition?
Thank you very much, Mrs. Byrd. With a partnership with the Florida Department of Education, the Florida Arts Alliance for Arts Education awards to deserving schools the designation of Arts Model Schools. And we have a wonderful elementary that is joining the ranks of such distinguished schools such as Davenport School of the Arts, McLaughlin Middle School and Fine Arts Academy, Haines City High School, and Spessard Holland. Mr. Darrell Ward happens to be in another hat that he wears, one of many. He is the current sitting president of the Florida Alliance for Arts Education, and he'll take just a moment to explain to you some of the criteria that the committees look at for this award.
Thank you, Mrs. Cummings, Superintendent and Board. The Model Schools program has been in existence now for many years, and essentially what it does is it's a statewide program, as Ms. Cummings said, in partnership with the Department of Education, in which we ask students, schools to apply, and then they can apply in one of 4 areas, theater, visual arts, dance, and I believe music, different music, choral, instrumental music. Once they apply, they go through a rigorous application process. Then we determine if they move on to the next stage, and if they do, then outside arts educators evaluate their applications in any of the areas that they have applied for to determine if they should be deemed a model school. So they look at things like the curriculum, the facilities, administrative support. They actually view lessons of teachers teaching, and then they make an assessment, and then they recommend to the Florida Alliance for Arts Education which schools should be deemed model schools. And Polk has, as Mrs. Cummings mentioned, several of those model schools. So we're very, very excited to recognize Chain of Lakes at this time for what they've done and for going through the process itself, which is can be somewhat tedious. So I'm excited to be here and serve in that capacity as the president of the Florida Alliance for Arts Education.
So along with their principal, Victor Duncan, I'd like to introduce to you our visual arts and our music teachers at Chain of Lakes Elementary, Geraldine Stark Jerry, in visual arts.
Stand up.
Come on up.
Stand.
Jamal Gamble in visual arts. Mick Burns in music, and Jalen Thompson in music. It's a large elementary school. So they have 2 art and 2 music teachers. So please help me congratulate them. They are a Florida Arts Model School.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Next, would Marissa Green, Communication and Information Manager for the City of Auburndale, step forward for the Community Involvement Recognition.
Thank you, Superintendent Byrd, Madam Chair, Fields of the board, and the rest of the board members. When I learned last fall about the plight of the struggling schools, the 5 struggling schools, I was moved, and I wanted to do something about it. So I put together a list of things that I knew that could be done and how the community can be involved. And I also made a public outcry on social media to my village and telling them, hey, we need your help and support in our public school system. And so I received many responses from those in the public, including from First Presbyterian Church of Haines City, who is represented here today. And I'm going to have Claire McGraw come forward and her team, and they're going to tell you some of the wonderful things they have done at Boone Middle School to help the students, the teachers, and the administration at the school. So if Claire could come forward. I've had a long-standing relationship with First Presbyterian Church of Haines City, and when they replied back to my request, they were just so gracious in terms of their help and being real humble of what they wanted to do for the school district. And they have kept me informed every step of the way of all the wonderful things that they have been doing at Boone. So I'm going to let Claire come forward and tell you about those things.
Thank you, Marissa, and thank you, board members, for recognizing us today. I am a retired administrator from Polk County Schools with 39 years' experience, and it's been elementary. And last summer, the Spirit said, when grades came out, Claire, you're going to have to do something at FPC for Boone Middle. That's a school in Haines City. I don't think Haines City's ever had a school at this level. And I said, no, 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 no. I'm not middle school. I don't want to get involved. And the Spirit said, oh, yes, you will. So it went from there to our session in our church and our pastor, and he's not able to be with us today. But I asked for people to help, and this team, we have a few that aren't with us today, but this team readily stepped up and said, hey, what can we do? So we came up with a kind of a compact of 9 things that we would do for Boone, and first and foremost, we would pray for the school and the students and the parents and the administrators. And then I met Ms. Chipman, and we just, it's been a blessing for us as a church and for Boone Middle. We are there, we have volunteers there on Mondays in classrooms. We have them helping in the media center. We've supplied early release lunches for them. We've supplied jackets during the winter, school supplies, just wherever Ms. Malchek calls and says, hey, can you help? We're there. So it's just been a blessing for all of us. And what a difference the school is than when I walked in the end of August to now. It is just a different place. And so we're very privileged as a church, community church, to be a part of Boone Middle.
And Sister Claire, we want to thank you all for being obedient.
She listened.
You all gonna get a picture?
Yeah.
Come out, get a picture?
Is Ms. Chipman here?
Yes, she is.
You want to come get
She
me?
should come on it down,
Yes.
yeah.
And the staff.
Or just go up on the stair there. Go up one step and then you can see everybody. There we go. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, what they have done has been amazing.
Thank you all for standing in the gap for Boone.
Miss Jackie, did Miss Chipman want to say anything?
Where's,
Before First Presbyterian goes, I want to say thank you. They know I appreciate them, but she did not mention that they also sponsor our Student of the Month. We give 10 Student of the Month incentive awards to them from McDonald's. They supply our Teacher of the Month incentive for one teacher every month. And like she said, anything that we need, they're there for us. So they are there to support us, and as well as our staff and our children and everyone. And so I appreciate them, and they know that, and I love them very much for all they've done. And I'm going to say that they have donated well over thousands of dollars to Boone Middle School, not only to help one of our students go to the state choral competition and to meet the needs of students who needed strings. So we had a very beautiful article in the paper about all they've done for our school. So we appreciate them and all that they do, and they know that, and we love them. So thank you guys. Appreciate it.
now I ask Billy Townsend to please read the Arts in Our Schools Month proclamation. Martha Rowe Burke, president of the Polk Arts Alliance, will be accepting this proclamation.
Whereas Polk County Public Schools believes that the arts, dance, music, theater, and visual arts hold transformative potential for all students. And whereas the purpose of Arts in Our Schools Month is to raise awareness of the importance of arts education for all children and to remind citizens that schools are where all children should have access to the arts. And whereas the study of arts is basic to a complete education, provides a competitive edge for successful educational reform, engages students in individual and group activity, develops creativity, problem solving, and critical and evaluative skills. And whereas arts education in the schools includes a broad range of types of arts and active arts experiences and helps students acquire skills in production and performance of arts, as well as an understanding of history and culture. And whereas it is the mission of Polk County Public Schools to provide high-quality education for all students in order to prepare children for a productive role in our society, and therefore be it resolved that the School Board of Polk County, Florida proclaims April 2017 as Arts in Our Schools Month and supports the purposes and practices of arts education and encourages teachers, parents, students, and all citizens to participate. The School Board of Polk County, Florida rededicates itself to the maintenance of a quality arts education program that will be relevant to the needs of the children placed in its care and will reach and positively influence each child. In witness whereof, I sign. So, is that sufficient? That's my first one, guys. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I move that we accept this proclamation. Thank you.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we recognize April 2017 as Arts in Our Schools Month. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
I have a few comments, if I may.
Yes, please.
Address you. Thank you so much. It's so nice to be here. Honorable Chairwoman Fields and members of the school board and Superintendent Byrd, thank you for this honor on behalf of the Mary Mass and the Polk Arts Alliance and the over 60 cultural arts organizations and creative industries in Polk County, and the over 50 cultural arts events that are held monthly in Polk County. Thank you for your support. It is the essential role that each of you play in support of arts education, which impacts us all, and I am so thankful for today. If I could make a shameless plug while I'm here, we have an upcoming Smart Education Symposium that is being hosted by the Polk Arts Alliance, of which I'm the president this year. That's why I'm standing here. This event will be held on Monday morning, September 18th at Harrison School of the Arts. And Beth Cummings, our vice president of the Polk Arts Alliance and your director of fine arts, is chairing this important workshop to share with community leaders and employers throughout Polk County how arts and education is trailblazing new ground. We plan to highlight the great work that Polk County Schools is doing in this area to drive up attendance, grade point average, and graduation rates. We invite you all to attend. Indeed, we want to recognize the foresight of your board to fund arts education and support it over so many years, and to point out the difference it has made to our community. We now know that it's SMART, and that's S-M capital A-R-T, smart education that develops a young mind capable of creative problem solving, the #1 job skill today, as well as a cultural awareness. And now we are learning of the stimulation and interest that the arts can play in keeping students engaged in the learning process. Polk Arts Alliance mission statement is broad and challenging: to cultivate an environment in which all the arts flourish through advocacy, collaboration, education, economic development, and marketing. I believe that the key word in our mission statement is collaboration. And I thank you for your visionary leadership that encourages that collaboration and the shared pursuit of making Polk County a great place to live, work, raise a family, get educated, and enjoy a quality of life through our cultural heritage. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Finally, I ask Lori Cunningham to please read the Every Kid Healthy Week proclamation. Jenna Levine, health educator consultant for the Florida Department of Health in Polk County, will accept this proclamation.
Proclamation, School Board of Polk County, Bartow, Florida. Whereas 1 out of 3 children is overweight or obese, putting them at risk for a variety of health complications and chronic diseases. Whereas evidence shows that students who attain proper nutrition and are physically active in school learn healthy lifelong habits and are better equipped to succeed academically. Whereas Every Kid Healthy Week was launched by Action for Healthy Kids in 2013 and is an annual observance that highlights the great efforts schools are taking to improve the health and wellness of their students by providing an opportunity for everyone in the country to support sound nutrition, regular physical activity, and health-promoting programs in schools. Whereas Every Kid Healthy Week celebrates schools who join the fight against childhood obesity, and Polk County School District has been awarded the Florida Healthy School District Award Silver designation. Whereas the Florida Department of Health's Healthiest Weight Florida initiative celebrates this observance across the state with local school districts. Whereas Polk Vision's Building a Healthier Polk School Health Team has partnered with the Highland City Elementary, Inwood Elementary, Medulla Elementary, Paget Elementary, and Juanita Elementary to implement a pilot program aimed at preventing and reducing overweight and obesity among children through increased physical activity and improved nutrition. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Polk County School Board does hereby proclaim the week of April 24th through 28th, 2017, Every Kid Healthy Week, and pledges our ongoing support to the health and academic success of our Polk County students. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the School Board of Polk County to be affixed at Bartow, Florida, this 25th day of April 2017. Jacqueline M. Byrd, Superintendent of Schools, Kay Fields, Board Chair, District 5, Billy Townsend, District 1, Lori Cunningham, District 2, Hazel Sellers, District 3, Sarah Beth Reynolds, District 4, Lynn Wilson, District 6, Tim Harris, District 7. Move approval, Madam Chair.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that we recognize this week, April the 24th to the 28th, 2017, as Every Kid Healthy Week. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the school board and the superintendent for recognizing Every Kid Healthy Week. I'm here not only representing the Department of Health, but also Polk Vision's Building a Healthier Polk initiative and the school health team. We are implementing a pilot program in the 5 schools we mentioned. We're trying to reduce the obesity rates in those schools through improved nutrition and increased physical activity, as you mentioned. And I'd like to recognize those that are here today, if they'd like to come up, our representatives. We have representatives from 4 of our 5 schools here today. From Highland City Elementary, we have Ms. Shauna Bergwall, the assistant principal. From Medulla Elementary, we have Ms. Myra Richardson, principal, and Ms. Gail McLeod, assistant principal. From Paget Elementary, we have Antoinette Kirby, principal. And from Juanita Elementary, we have Ms. Cheryl White, the guidance counselor. So thank you all for being here, and thank you all for supporting this initiative.
Thank you.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Thank you.
That concludes our special recognitions for today.
Thank you, Ms. Jackie. All right, the next item on our agenda would be anyone that would like to speak on any items that is on the agenda for today's meeting. All right, we'll go to the next item, which is approve the minutes of the March 14, 2017 work session.
Madam Chair, move approval of the minutes of the March 14th, 2017 work session.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes for the March 14, 2017 work session. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes for the March 14, 2017 school board meeting.
Move approval?
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes for the March 14, 2017 school board meeting. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item will be to approve the consent agenda for today's meeting.
Move approval?
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda for today's meeting. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And Ms. Bernard, we have one administrator.
That's correct. I am pleased to recommend the appointment of Alicia Dennis as Assistant Principal of Citrus Ridge, a civics academy. Ms. Dennis previously served as Polk County Schools Regional District Reading Coach. She attended University of Central Florida, receiving a Bachelor of Science degree in Physical Education and a Master's degree in Educational Leadership from American College of Education. Welcome, Ms. Dennis.
Thank you very much. I just want to thank the school board and Superintendent Byrd for this exciting opportunity. In addition, I'd also like to thank my former boss, Ms. Everett, for her knowledge and guidance. She's been a very positive mentor here for me in Polk County and hopefully will remain that way. I also want to thank my new boss, Kathy Conley, for offering this rewarding experience to me. I promise I'll do the very best I can to continue to improve the instruction and enhance the atmosphere to allow for further growth of the students, teachers, and staff at Citrus Ridge. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Byrd. Okay, the next item on our agenda, we'll move into the regular agenda now, and it's the naming of the baseball field for Fort Meade Middle Senior High School. Ms. Sellers?
Madam Chair, I am pleased to move for the approval of Fort Meade's Middle Senior High School's baseball field to be named Andrew McCutcheon Field.
Need a
Second.
second, please. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we name the Fort Meade Middle Senior High baseball field the Andrew McCutcheon Field. And is there any discussion? Are you going to discuss now?
Yes. Oh, I just want to say that this is a well-deserved honor for Andrew McCutcheon. He was a young man that grew up playing baseball in Fort Meade, at Fort Meade Middle Senior High, and he was drafted to the Pittsburgh Pirates. I knew that. But Andrew McCutcheon has not forgotten his hometown, and he's come back and he's given time and money and resources to that baseball field, being sure to improve the field for all of the uprising young baseball players that come through Fort Meade. And I know we have people here tonight from Fort Meade that would like to speak to this.
Okay, let's do the vote, and then they can come.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, all those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And now they can come down.
Okay.
You want to introduce them, Ms. Sellers?
Yes. Well, this is Amy Hardy, principal at Fort Meade Middle Senior, and your athletic director?
Yeah, athletic director and baseball coach John Spradlin is with me. I would like to thank the board for allowing us to name our baseball field after Andrew McCutcheon. I'm going to allow John to speak about his baseball accomplishments and his contributions to us as a school. But I also want to introduce Andrew's parents with us. Of course, Andrew could not be here because of his major league responsibilities. But with us today, we have Lorenzo and Patrina McCutcheon. I also feel it would be in the best interest that I would represent Andrew well in speaking of his faith. He was brought up to be a man of God. In one of his interviews, he spoke highly of his father and some advice that has stuck with him. It was a conversation him and his father was having, and it said, "Keep the main thing, son," he told me one day. "Baseball?" Andrew said. "No, God is the main thing. It's good to have other interests, but know that no matter what happens, God is all you need. All your gifts are gifts from Him." And then later he went, of course, through, at that point he was a child, and then of course he, was talented in the area of baseball. And then once he was drafted, and then once he got the call to go in the major leagues, there was one night that he fell down on his knees in prayer, and he said, Lord, I love this game, but even if I don't have it, I know what can never be taken away, and that's my love for you and your love for me. I want to do my best to help this team win, for the fans, for my family, for Coach Rutland, for Fort Meade, and all the people who helped me and prayed for me. So with that, I felt that was a dimension you needed to know about Andrew, so make sure that was represented. And now I'm going to hand it over to Coach Spidlin.
Thank you. Ms. Sellers must have read most of my notes because you said about exactly everything that I wanted to say. But just briefly, for those that don't know Andrew, he was a first-round draft pick in 2005. He's been I believe, 6-time All-Star. He's been an MVP, a runner-up for an MVP. He's given back significant things to Fort Meade. He hasn't forgotten where he came from. He's still in the prime of a tremendous career. And the thing that I've always said about him is if you look at his career and his accomplishments athletically, he's 10 times the person. And that's a tribute to those people right there. Thank you.
Mom and Dad, come. We're gonna get a picture. Did y'all get a picture already?
No, get a picture. And do they?
Would you like to say something? Are you sure?
Thank you.
Thank you all for doing such a great job raising your son.
Musical chairs. Oh, what a blessing. What a blessing.
Thank you all again. And make sure that you thank your son on behalf of the Polk County Public Schools, please. Thank you. All right, the next item on our agenda is naming the Haines City High School athletic field. Ms. Cunningham, are you going to do that?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I received a letter back in February from our principal, Adam Lane, at Haines City High School, noting that the SAC committee had met and had a unanimous vote, and he was 100% in support as well. And after learning a little bit more about this gentleman, I too wholeheartedly support naming of the Haines City High School football field the Wayne Gandy Field. And we're very excited. This gentleman, oh my goodness, does so much of his generous donation of time and financial support to our community. For the past 23 years, he comes home and provides youth a free football clinic. And he brings current and former NFL players to our town to inspire these young athletes. And here today, representing him, if you will, in our school is Mrs. Mel Gables, the athletic director at Haines City High School, who's going to tell you a little bit more about him. And we did try to make this a surprise and get him here this evening. Due to some scheduling conflicts, he could not be with us tonight. And so thank you so much for being here to accept this in his honor.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Good evening, and thank you, board members, for allowing me to be present and speak on behalf of Mr. Wayne Lamar Gandy. My name is Mel Gables, and I'm the athletic director at Haines City High School. Mr. Gandy was unavailable tonight because of his work obligations. He's a radio talk show host in Atlanta, Georgia, called The Sports Jock, so he was unable to reschedule. I wanted you to share my experience with Wayne and let you know what he's done for our community. I was Wayne's classmate back in the 1980s. 30 years later, Wayne is still the same kind of guy. He is humble, caring, and a compassionate man. What is different about Wayne is that he seeks no publicity or for his generosity, for his character, for his charity, or acts of kindness. Yet he's done so much for our student athletes and community that's been a privilege to spearhead the naming of our football field in his honor. Wayne played football at Auburn University, where he earned an All-American status. War Eagle, absolutely. Where he earned All-American status not only as an athlete, but an academic All-American as well. He then continued his football career in the National Football League for 16 years. Every year he has returned to his hometown of Haines City to provide, like we talked about, the free football camp. This past Saturday, I had the privilege to host the camp at Haines City, and I just want you to know what an incredible experience it was. It felt wonderful to have Wayne back at Haines City High School, and his mom and the community were outstandingly, overwhelmingly pleased for the first time that this camp was held at Haines City High School. I know what an honor it is to have a building or field named after someone. It is someone who's made a lasting impact in the community, on student athletes, or in general, someone who deserves recognition of the highest magnitude. By your decision to allow our football field to be named Wayne Gandy Field is an honor that I do not take lightly. Mr. Gandy has not forgotten where he grew up and the importance of athletics for a way to people to succeed. I appreciate your time and your support in the naming of our football field, forever be known as the Wayne Gandy Field. Once again, Board and Superintendent Byrd and Ms. Cunningham, I appreciate your support. This is a huge honor for Haines City High School. Thank you.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to name the football field at Haines City High School the Wayne Gandy Field.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we name the Haines City Senior High School Athletic Field the Wayne Gandy Field. Is there any other discussion?
Thank you, board members. I appreciate your support.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. You're very much welcome. Can you also thank Mr. Gandy for all that he does for our schools, please?
Yes, ma'am, I certainly will.
Thank you. All right, the next item on the agenda is to approve the property insurance renewal in the amount of $1,897,630.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the property insurance renewal. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is to approve the 2017-18 FDLRS continuation grant in the amount of $1,154,555.
Move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the 2017-2018 FDLRS continuation grant. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is to approve the Florida School Board Depository Instructional Material Purchase in the amount of $4 million.
Move approval.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the Florida School Board Depository Instructional Material Purchase in the amount of $4 million. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is to approve purchase of Imagine Math in the amount of $264,000.
Move approval.
Second. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the purchase of Imagine Math. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is to approve iStation purchase in the amount of $339,000.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the iStation purchase in the amount of $339,000. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have a lot of items here, so please bear with us. The next item is to approve Renaissance Star 360 purchase in the amount of $1,660,512.92.
Madam Chair, move approval of the purchase of Renaissance Star 360 Teaching and Learning Program.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the Renaissance Star 360 purchase. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is to approve the correction of the warranty deed. Mr. Bridges, does this need to be explained more in depth?
We certainly can. I'm on a different item. This is one that I believe that Richard Alderman in the Facilities Department has put together. There was an error in the original deed for the fire station at Daniel Jenkins Academy, and this will correct that legal description for that deed.
Thank you for
ma'am.
clarifying that. Okay, so we need a motion, please.
Motion to approve the corrected warranty deed for the Board of County Commissioners EMS at Daniel Jenkins Academy.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the motion to correct the warranty deed that was just described. Is there any discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is to approve the charter amendment of New Beginnings High School to allow a satellite location at Fort Meade Goss Riverside Academy.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the charter amendment of New Beginnings High School to allow a satellite location at Fort Meade Goss Riverside Academy. Is there any discussion on this item? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, the next item is to approve, deny the following charter school projected enrollment requests. We're going to do this by school. So there's like 6 of them, I believe. So the first one is to approve increasing Discovery High School's enrollment by 250 to accommodate incoming freshmen.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve increasing Discovery High School's enrollment by 250. Is there any discussion on this item? Mr. Townsend and
Just
then Mr. Harris.
Yeah, just a quick question on that. So the incoming freshman year is what accounts for that. They're like each year it steps up. Like, so they started, so the ninth graders that were started this are now graduating, and this is like the filling out of the school. Does that work? Okay. Is that correct? Do I understand that correctly?
They're rolling up a grade level.
Right.
That's what's happening.
Okay.
Did your question get answered?
They must have 10, 11, and 12 already then, right? I mean, that's so,
No.
they're adding,
No. They're going to actually roll up from the 9th to the 10th grade, and they're adding those grade levels.
okay, so it's,
Yes, the
okay,
other way.
all right.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Jackie. Mr. Harris?
I just think it's important for the community to know that the school district has already funded and built sufficient student stations to accommodate, and this is really an unnecessary increase in student enrollment at a charter school when we have empty student stations at Tenor Rock High School.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Harris. Okay, so the motion, I don't see any other lights. The motion on the floor is to approve increasing Discovery High School's enrollment by 250 to accommodate incoming freshmen. Mr. Townsend?
So, forgive me for not going through or this during the work session. Is this one of those things where it's preset and there's no way to? I mean, it's grooved. I mean, what's the sense here?
You said it's
I mean, it's if we deny it, what happens?
What they're doing is that they are adding on those grade levels, so those students will roll up. So their original intention was to add, was it 350? And what staff brought to you was the recommendation only of 250, looking at when those students roll forward. So you have the seats for the 9th graders that are going to come in and 10th graders to move forward. Was that the correct number, Melissa? 300 and the original enrollment that they requested?
I would have to go back and look, but the original request was more than we recommended for final approval. We recommended a number that actually reflected the grade that was moving up and not what was requested.
But to your question, is it a preset number? No, we just looked at what was rolling forward.
But I guess my actual question is, what are the consequences of voting it down? What sue us probably?
Yes, Madam Chair, if I might, I believe that would be a contract dispute that would be recognized by the Division of Administrative Hearings and would result in the appointment of, if they requested it, in the appointment of an administrative law judge and the conduct of administrative hearing.
That's settles it.
Ms. Sellers,
Oh,
Mr. Reynolds?
he answered, I was going to answer, but he did a better job.
Okay, and probably what needs to happen, Ms. Jackie, if you don't mind, is that maybe Ms. Melissa want to come down in case we have some other questions on
Yes,
this
she'll,
item?
she'll come forward.
Okay, so the motion is to approve increasing Discovery High School's enrollment by 250 to accommodate incoming freshmen. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay. So we have two nays and 5 yeas, so motion carries. Okay, the next item is to deny Lake Wells High School's request to increase their enrollment by 30 students.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I think there's confusion about the vote that we just took. Were there 2 nays?
Yes, I was nay and Mr.
Oh,
Harris was.
I apologize. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. No problem.
I know they were asking that at the end.
Okay, no problem. So we're at the point of denying Lake Wells High School's request to increase their enrollment by 30 students.
I'd like to make a motion to deny Lake Wells High School's request for 30 additional students based on the fact that their approved PTM for this year was 1,530, and their current enrollment is at 1,247. So due to the fact that they are down by 283 students, it just didn't make sense to move up 30 students.
Second?
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we deny Lake Wells High School request to increase their enrollment. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is to deny Magnolia Montessori Academy's request to increase their enrollment by 5 students.
Madam Chairman, I would like to make a motion to deny the Magnolia Montessori for 5 more students. This would end up increasing their enrollment to 97, and their current PTM for this year was 100, and the current enrollment is at 89. So once again, it would not make any sense since we're not even close to that figure.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we deny the Magnolia Montessori Academy's request to increase their enrollment by 5 students. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is to approve our Children's Academy request to increase their enrollment by 10 students.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve our Children's Academy's request to increase their enrollment by 10 students. Is there any discussion? Ms. Cunningham?
Thank you. Once again, I'm supporting this because the school is requesting the 10 additional students. The school will expand its grades to include 11th grade, and the students who attend OCA at the high school level are students with significant cognitive disabilities. So this year's PTM was approved at 235, and their current enrollment is 231.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The last item is concerning Polk State College, Lakeland Gateway, and Mr. Wilson, you need to have comments here?
Yes, thank you, ma'am. I wish to abstain voting on this item due to my relationship with Polk State College. I have completed the appropriate paperwork and it's been signed.
Thank you. So we need a motion to deny Polk State College, Lakeland Gateway, request to increase their enrollment by 20 students.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we deny Polk State College's, Lakeland Gateway to College's request to increase their enrollment by 20 students. Ms. Cunningham?
Thank you. Once again, just for the audience's sake, the school is requesting a 20-student increase, and this year's PTM was approved at 200 students. Current enrollment is 187, and the school has not met this year's PTM.
Thank you. All those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
May I make a correction?
Yes, ma'am.
For Discovery High School, I think you posed the vote for an increase of 250 students. At the work session, we discussed 150 students.
So there should
But
be
on here, it
150?
says 250. Yeah, and here.
So it should be 150?
Yes, ma'am. It should say recommend denial It says, the school is requesting an increase of 250 students for the school's contract. They are adding 11th grade this year. Current enrollment is 281 PTM for the 16-17 school year, and it was 300 students. We recommend denial at 300 students, approve increase for 150.
But ours is 250.
Okay. I
Madam
apologize.
Chair, that will require an affirmative motion to approve it at 150.
Who originally made the motion?
No, you can do it as a new motion.
Okay.
You did it, but I think the cleanest way to do it would be to simply do a new motion to approve it at 150.
Okay, so we're back to Discovery's
High school.
enrollment. We're improving it, we are increasing it to 150. Correct me?
Yes, ma'am,
Yes.
that's correct.
Okay, to accommodate incoming freshmen. So we need a motion.
Move to adopt the staff's recommendation for 150 for Discovery High School.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we increase Discovery High School's enrollment by 150 to accommodate incoming freshmen. All those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay. So we have the same 5-2 and the same people. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, the next item on the agenda is to approve the following Neola policy updates. And Mr. Bridges, what's going to be the best way to do this?
Yes, ma'am. What I would suggest, Madam Chair, is if there's a board member that wishes to pull out one for separate discussion, to do that. Otherwise, you can adopt these with one vote. What this is about is the school board contracts with an organization called Neola, which stands for something, but nobody can remember anymore because they changed their legal name to Neola, and they're referred to as Neola. And they are in the business of writing and updating school board policies. They do it all over the country and have quite a few districts in the state of Florida. And the school board of Polk County contracted with them some years ago, and the contract requires them periodically to bring back to the school board recommendations for changes and updates, primarily in the nature of housekeeping to keep up with changes in the law and best practices. And that's what this is. And tonight, they're bringing you updates to your policies having to do with the program of instruction, virtual instruction, career and technical education, assignment within the district, controlled open enrollment, student progression, promotion, acceleration, placement, and retention, general education development tests, GED, participation in extracurricular activities, and maintenance. And if no board member wishes to pull one of these for separate vote, you can do it on a single vote. But I would suggest entertaining that question first, so that if there's one that someone wishes to pull out for a separate vote, they can do so.
Okay, now this is the beginning of our public hearing as well. We allow anyone from the public that would like to have comments on any of these updates as well. So I guess the first thing would be, does any board member have any item that you would like to vote on separately? And then would anyone from the audience like to have any comments on any of these items? Okay, then we can vote on all of these at one time. So I need a motion to approve the Neola policy updates that's before us.
Move for approval?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the Neola policy updates that are before us. Is there any discussion? Mr. Harris?
Just a clarifying point. You had mentioned Neola and what does it mean. They were founded a number of years ago as the Northeast Ohio Learning Associates. And Dick Clapp is the CEO, and they still operate out of Ohio, but they have representatives here in Florida. Initially, they offered facility studies, population projects, curriculum units, and staff development, and have progressed now into policy development around the country for school districts. Just an FYI, Northeast Ohio Learning Associates, but no one calls them that, as you said.
And they have officially changed their name to Neola.
Thank you for that lesson, Mr. Harris.
That will go into your, game playing. You'll be able
How
to pull
extra
that
bad.
up when you get called on
Well,
that
we
question.
appreciate it. All those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item we have on our agenda is rezoning Lake Alfred, Adair Middle, and Cumbie Elementary. And Ms. Jackie, who's going to present this?
Ms. Bridges and Ms. Luce, they're both here.
Good evening, board members. This hearing is to consider and discuss the redrawing of the school zones for the Lake Alfred, Adair Middle, and Cumbie Elementary School due to the reclassification of these schools to magnet schools. Magnet schools require an application in order for a student to attend. Districts cannot zone to a magnet school and must provide a school zone to each student in that, within that zone. The current Lake Alfred Adair school zone is proposed to be divided between Shelley Boone Middle and Jerry Stambaugh Middle Schools. Current Lake Alfred Adair Middle School 6th and 7th grade students have the opportunity to enroll for the magnet program at Lake Alfred Polytech, which will be the new name of the school. Many have applied. The current Cumbie Elementary zone is proposed to be divided between Philip O'Brien Elementary and Clarence Boswell Elementary. Current K through 4th grade students at Cumbie Elementary have the opportunity to apply to the magnet school. Most of the current students have applied to attend the new magnet school. A parent information meeting was held on March 8, 2017 at Cumbie Elementary. There was no opposition expressed at the meeting. A parent information meeting was held on March 9, 2017 at Lake Alfred Adair Middle School. No opposition was expressed at the meeting. There was a single question about whether a parent could request to attend another school, which was answered with a yes if a transfer application is submitted and capacity is available at that school. No other questions were asked. The new zone for Jerry Stambaugh Middle School will be south of the Lake County line, north of Dean Still Road, west of Commonwealth Avenue North in Polk City, and west of the Polk Parkway in Auburndale. The southern boundary is north of Winter Lake Road, south of Havendale Boulevard, south of Lucerne Park Road. The eastern boundary is east of State Road 555. The new zone for Shelley Boone Middle Shelley Boone Middle School will be north and west of the Osceola County line, north of the Ronald Reagan Parkway at the northeastern corner. The western boundary runs west of Highway 27. The northwestern boundary is north of Old Polk City Road. The southern boundary is south of Lake Hatchnahaw Road, extending to Lake Pierce. The southeastern boundary extends from the Poinciana Parkway to Lake Hatchnahaw. The new zone for Philip O'Brien Elementary is proposed to begin south of University Boulevard. The eastern boundary is west of the Polk Parkway. The southeastern boundary extends east of Saddle Creek Park Road. The southern boundary ends on the north side of East Memorial Boulevard. The southwestern boundary extends to the south of East Memorial Boulevard to East Edgewood Drive. The western boundary on the southwest side ends at Highway 37. The northwestern boundary runs from Lake Parker Drive north to Highway 27. The proposed new zone for Clarence Boswell Elementary begins south of East Memorial Boulevard and extends to the east of the Polk Parkway and south of Wrecker Highway. The eastern boundary follows the railroad tracks to the east of Wrecker Highway. The southeastern boundary is east of Florida Citrus Boulevard and east of Burlington Drive and north of Winter Lake Road. The western boundary is west of Skyview Golf Club and extends to the east of East Lake Parker Drive. With that, staff request approval of the proposed zones after the public hearing. And with that, I'll allow Ms. Bridges to.
Is that it? Okay. So if anyone in the public would like to have comments concerning the rezoning of Lake Alfred, Adair, and Cumbia Elementary, now would be the time for you to come up. All right, so we, yes, ma'am. You can give us your name, please.
Sarah Fortney, science teacher at Stanball Middle.
Yes, ma'am.
How many stations, I think is what Mr. Harris called them, are at Lake Alfred Middle's, or New Polytech or whatever? Is that what we're calling units, or do we have that information? How many kids are gonna be there, I guess is my question.
Lake Alfred Adair Middle has 962 student stations. It currently has an enrollment of about 650 at this moment.
But they can, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade will have 962 starting when they're Polytech.
Let me see if I can answer that for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So the Polytech will increase the Lake Alfred Adair current enrollment from its 650 up to a little over 700. And then we've got some flexibility once we have 5th graders coming next year. So we'll readjust those numbers again depending on space.
So the difference we're looking at to be shipped off to Boone and Stanball is the difference in 962
No,
and
ma'am.
700?
No, there's 650 students now. We can take back every one of those 650 students and add about 60 seats.
Okay.
And then look at, once we don't have 5th grade there anymore, increasing that number even more.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So what is the pleasure of the board?
Move approval.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the rezoning for Lake Alfred Adair Middle and Cumbia Elementary. And Ms. Sellers, I believe your light was on first.
Yes, just for the public's information, every child that is currently in those schools that isn't moving out of that school age will be eligible to be there this year. No child will be displaced that did not want to be displaced.
That is correct. We actually did their open enrollment prior to opening it to the public in general. So all the 7th grade moving to 8th grade don't fall into the grant specified school, but we're keeping all those 8th graders there. Then for the 6th graders rolling into 7th grade, we have all of those seats reserved for those students. And then we went a step further and took all of the students who would have normally been zoned to Lake Alfred, hand-delivered an application to them. For many of them, I think it's their second or third time, but that's okay. We're going to be persistent. And our goal is to recruit 100% of those students as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Townsend?
I touched on this earlier. I'm going to vote against this. I think it has, this plan's, I think, been in progress since fairly early last year, right? 2016 or even 2015. So I recognize that there's been a lot of time and effort put into it, and that we've spent money on it. I just can't help but think about the fact we had a very long discussion today about Lake Wales and about how incentives created by non-compulsory schools and compulsory schools sort of move kids around and cause kids to sort. I'm happy that some of these kids are getting some special programs. I would like to see those just done where they are. I think we sacrifice community when we do these things. I don't, I'm not mad at anybody about it, but it's hard for me to make a distinction between what charter schools do and what our own magnet choice schools do. It's hard for me to see that distinction really. And I think the challenge for all of us moving ahead is to find a way to reconcile what we lose with community with these programs over the long term. And I don't doubt that you're making heroic efforts in the short term. It's more sort of over the long term, how these things play out. Yeah, I think that's really our challenge as a county and really as a state and a country as well, because we do have this weird two-tier education system that we're going to have to deal with and look in the face. And I was pleased with how the discussion went today. I think we have some potential for progress on that front, but we also have to look at ourselves and do that with ourselves as well. So that's all. Thanks.
Thank you. So the motion before us is to approve the rezoning for Lake Alfred Adair and Cumbie Elementary. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
We have 6 ayes and 1 opposed. Motion carries. All right, and now we're at a point of hearing from our superintendent.
Meetings for the month of May include a work session will be held on Tuesday, May 16th at 12:30 p.m. in the Superintendent's Conference Room, followed by the school board meeting at 5 p.m. in the School District Auditorium. All meetings will take place at 1915 South Floor Avenue in Bartow, Florida. That concludes my announcements.
Thank you, Ms. Jackie. And now, Mr. Bridges, you have 2 items you want to bring before us?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, ma'am. As we mentioned this morning at the work session, it does not happen frequently that I come to you to request authority to file a lawsuit. But under Florida law, the School Board of Polk County is the entity with the capacity to sue and be sued. You are sued frequently. Less frequently, we have the situation arise in which it becomes necessary to file a suit. This matter arises out of an accident in 2016 in which a private citizen operating their motor vehicle adjacent to the Spessard-Holland campus left the roadway and caused significant damage to the facility at Spessard-Holland. We have made claim with the insurance company. Claim has been denied. My understanding is that they have suggested the existence of a phantom driver. We're not impressed with that argument, and we think there's a very good possibility of recovering the value of the damage to the building, and I would request a vote in favor to authorize us to file the attached complaint in Circuit Court in Polk County.
Thank you. We need a motion, please.
Madam Chair, move approval for our attorney to file the attached lawsuit on this matter.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we authorize Mr. Bridges to file the lawsuit as just described. Is there any discussion on this matter? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Second item, I would very much like it if my computer would allow me to open the document, but you can't always get what you want. This is a letter that we received from the law firm of Holland & Knight. These come in from time to time, not frequently, but they are representing the district in the capacity of bond counsel in some upcoming financial transactions. Holland & Knight has a national practice, and not unsurprisingly, other members of the firm in other places represent financial institutions that may be involved in the other side of the transaction. Holland & Knight has assured us that they can structure things in such a way as to avoid not only actual conflict, but the appearance of conflict. Once again, this is something that we do from time to time, not frequently, but as a matter of routine. And I would recommend to you that you accept their request and authorize me to execute the waiver of conflict on their behalf, or on your behalf to them.
Thank you, Mr. Bridges. And what's the pleasure of the board?
Move approval.
Second.
We have it's been moved and seconded that we approve the conflict of interest waiver for Holland & Knight. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And Madam Chair, I have one further item to mention, something that the Baptists might characterize as a praise report. Tomorrow at 12 p.m., Chris Laney of my office will be sworn in as the newest member of the Florida Bar. Judge John Radaball will do the honors, And I hope you will join me in saying congratulations to Chris on this milestone accomplishment. And I would say that you don't have any idea of the blood and toil and tears and sweat that went into this, but actually you do. But congratulations to Chris, and I wanted to publicly express to her my admiration for all the hard work that went into this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bridges, and we're very proud of her as well. We know how hard she's worked and how many years she's worked towards this, so we congratulate her as well. And the next item would be the board members' reports, and we'll start with Mr. Townsend.
Yes, I think if I'm not wrong, this is Ann Marshall's last meeting with us.
Oh, my goodness.
She's out there hiding in the hallway somewhere. I just want to say, both as a candidate and now as a board member, Ann was extraordinarily responsive, and just she's the, for those of you who don't know, the public records specialist, and just very easy to deal with. I'll miss her. I haven't known her that long, but we'll miss her. So wherever you are, Ann, you should come in and get clapped. But and I guess while I got this, I would like to ask Superintendent Byrd, kind of picking up on my thought process from before. One of the things I think that we could do as a board and as a district that would be helpful, at least on our end with the Agnes School issue, is to create a very brief exit report any time a child leaves the school. And I think it would be nice to have a parent, a one paragraph narrative from the parent as to why they decided to take the child out of the school, or why the child left. And I understand sometimes you might not be able to reach them, but that in and of itself might be an issue. I know there's, hi Ann. Yay, say about Ann. I'm in the middle of doing something like other than clapping for you now. I'm sorry. Come on up, say something.
I am truly humbled by this recognition. My years with Polk County Public Schools have been wonderful years. Most days I have thoroughly enjoyed being here. And as I've said to anybody who's ever listened to me, Polk County Public Schools has been good to Ann Marshall. It's afforded me many opportunities to do many different things. I started as a classroom teacher and worked in the Exceptional Student Education Department. Had the privilege of working in the old days with Mr. Duncan in terms of student discipline. When Dr. McKenzie was here, she gave me the opportunity with Greg Bondurant to start the Safe Schools Department, which is now part of the Sheriff's Department. And then one day I got a call and said, tomorrow we want you to take care of public records for the district. And I said, what's a public record? But Polk County Public Schools has been extremely good to Ann Marshall. I appreciate all the kindness shown to me by everyone through the years, and I'm going to go and learn how to be retired.
Amen. Good for you.
Oh. I don't know where I was. I think you get the point, right? Okay.
Thank you.
I'm done.
Ms. Cunningham?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. It's been a busy couple of weeks, and want to start off by telling everyone that your Polk delegation up here of school board members attended the FSBA, Florida School Boards Association Day in the Legislature. We're very blessed that Mr. Tim Harris is our organizational president, and I'm sure he's going to speak more about it. I just want to thank everybody for going and attending. I think we learned a lot from our own legislative delegation, and we were blessed to be able to meet with Senator Sessions from Orange County to talk about some budgeting sessions. Simmons, sorry, from Orange County, who's just wonderful and gave us some insight as far as we move forward with our budgeting process. And we had some updates today regarding where the Senate and the House sits with regards to our school district budgets across this state. So it was a great trip, and I learned a lot, as I always do, and it's always great to put names with faces and to connect with folks from our district and beyond. We attended, a lot of us, the Superintendent Scholars, which occurred last week. It was a wonderful event. We honored in our Polk County school system 803 students that had a GPA of 3.8 or higher. So while there's a lot of momentum and things we need to do, we're certainly not perfect, but we are blessed to have so many students that are doing wonderful things. And I thank our teachers, our parents, and our communities for their support, because these young people are phenomenal. To watch them introduce themselves and tell where they're going and what their plans are for their future is just so rewarding. It makes doing our job every day so meaningful. So I want to congratulate our Superintendent Scholars. Recently, I attended the Haines City Chamber of Commerce Youth Leadership Graduation Celebration for the 2017 Youth Leadership Class. That program is near and dear to my heart, as I started that program when I was at the Chamber with our late Linda Pilkington, who many of you may know. And so it has continued to evolve, and normally they take 10 kids, and because of the exceptional qualities of the students that came forward this year between Ridge Community High School and Haines City High School, the program was able to accommodate 16 students for this year-long program where they're introduced to business, leadership, and community events, as well as culminating with a trip to Tallahassee. So my sincerest congratulations to all the students, and kudos to the Haines City Chamber for providing this wonderful opportunity for our young people. Ridge Community High School recently had the high school musical. It's the 5th musical that the high school has put on, and I just want to say kudos to Corey Wilson, the theater teacher and director of the musical, and Timothy Frost, the technical director, and Victoria Adolphson, who's the student director. It's the first time that they've actually had a student be able to be a part of it and help to direct and choreograph the musical. So I thought that was a wonderful, enriching opportunity for her. It was a wonderful show, and look forward to see what they're going to have up their sleeve for next year. And last night, Mr. Townsend and I attended the Polk County Association of Charter Schools banquet, which recognizes every year their Teacher of the Year and their Support Person of the Year. And I just want to do a shout out to the Charter Schools Teacher of the Year, Miss Jamie Winfrey, who's a teacher at Lake Wells High School, and the Support Person of the Year, Jazz Beth Alvarez from Babson Park Elementary School. Congratulations to all the teachers. To me, I always say everyone is a winner for what you do for our students every day. So thank you so much for impacting our children so positively. And thank you, Madam Chairman. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. Ms. Sellers?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I want to congratulate Summerlin Academy's rifle team. They are state champions again, back-to-back state championships. Congratulations, and that goes to Bartow too, because of course Summerlin Academy is part of Bartow. And I do want to congratulate many of our schools. The National Career Academy Coalition has recognized 8 more career academies, 6 as model academies, and 2 as nationally certified. Now, all of these are nationally certified. This year, our model academies that are added to our list are Auburndale High School's Auburndale Medical Academy, Bartow High School's Bartow Future Educators Academy. George Jenkins High School had 3 model academies: the Academy of Design and Technology, Academy of Legal Studies, and their Medical Academy. And Kathleen High School had their Academy of Natural Resources, designated as model academies. With national certification, Fort Meade Middle Senior High School, their Agro Technology Academy, and Kathleen High School's Distro Tech Academy. We now have 20 nationally certified career academies in this district. Our strategic plan, I think the year was 12, 13, or 13, 14, we set goals. And one of our goals was for in the year 17, 18, which would be next year, we would have 7 nationally certified career academies. Today, we have 20. And out of those, we added 6, and then we have 7, 8, 9, 10 are model academies. So half of them are model academies. I can't tell you the hard work. It started with Mr. John Small. Mr. Mark Hutek is continuing the work. Our teachers are phenomenal at these career academies. I will tell you, it is a proud moment. I would encourage our business community to come out and visit some of the academies, especially those that are in your field. The students just, you can't imagine how mature these students are, how they can talk about their field, what options they have in life. It's amazing. So businesses, if you feel a need to have skilled employees and you don't think that we have them here, come partner with our schools. We can educate kids, and our career academies really demonstrate that. But I want to thank all the teachers. I know how hard they work to get this national certification. And so thank you. Thank you for working with our students. Thank you, students, for being so dedicated. And this is one thing on our strategic plan that not only we met, but we far exceeded. And so I think we will have to set a more lofty goal when we have our work session. And the only thing I would like to say, we got a little update about the budgets. Many of our community members probably opened the paper and saw that the House and the Senate have a disagreement about the budget. I will tell people, if you're at all interested in public education, you will call your legislators, both the House and Senate, thanking the Senate and begging the House to please lean toward the Senate's budget. We looked at the budgets today, and if the House got their way, we would lose $45 per student in funding next year. This year we came back with a $10 reduction from the year before. I can't tell you how hard it is to give raises, improve our schools, add programs that are beneficial to our students when we get less money because costs go up. As costs rise and we get less per student, it makes budgeting very difficult. We lost money this year. If we go back $45 per student on top of the $10 we lost this year, you can see how difficult it is to continue as we see increases in our health care. We saw that today. There are increases that we have no control over. So please contact your legislators and encourage them to look at this, especially on the education part, the Senate's budget versus the House budget. And with that, I'm finished. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Sellers. Ms. Reynolds?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think Lori took just about everything on my list. But we also attended I think all of us were at the About Face Awards earlier in April, which talking to those students and their mentors and parents and teachers who have helped them make a 180 where they're going in the right direction. And it's very inspiring to see where they were a year ago or 2 years ago, or even kind of the track that they've been on their whole lives, and that they're really making positive changes and on the right track to be positive citizens in our community. It's very exciting. Also, again, to echo what Lori said about Ridge Community High School's High School Musical, I work at a theater. I spend a lot of time seeing plays. It was incredible. I could understand every word those students were saying
Corey somehow fit 100 students on stage, and I could see all of them and all of their faces. None of their backs were turned to the audience. It was one of the most impressive shows I've seen. So I cannot thank Corey and Ridge enough for bringing that to us. And then lastly, I just want to give a thank you to the youth group at Redeemer Presbyterian Church this weekend. A lot of groups do walkathons, or I know I donated to a jumpathon a few weeks ago, but they decided to do something similar, but instead it was a day of service. So they chose Elbert Elementary School and were there from 8 a.m. to noon and had people that could sponsor them for hours of service. So people would donate $10 an hour for them to go and spread mulch and rake and do things at the school, which I thought was the coolest fundraiser for them. They're raising money to go on a mission trip this summer, but that was their way of raising money, was actually doing service and helping another organization rather than doing a walkathon or something like that. So it was a really cool way, and it was a junior in high school that came up with the idea. So I thought it was a very unique way to raise money, and something that I would love to see other organizations take part in, especially if it's going to help our schools too. So, and that's all my comments.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also would like to extend my congratulations to Chris Laney for having passed the bar exam. Christine, as I know her, is one of my former students at Polk State College, and it's always very special to see your students go on and do special things like become CPAs and finance directors and bankers and even attorneys. just having a little fun, Mr. Bridges. But I know that this has been has persevered to get where she's at. It's been a tremendous and fulfilling journey for her, and I know we're all very proud of her. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Harris?
As Ms. Cunningham alluded to before, most of the board members did go to Tallahassee to participate in the Day in the Legislature, which is put on by the Florida School Board Association every year during the legislative session. And Florida School Board Association, for those of you who don't know, is the collective voice of school boards in the state of Florida, and was established in 1930. So it really is the organization tasked with training board members to help board members become better at their job and better at performing the role for the community. And so we had about 150 plus people that came to Tallahassee for that two-day event to learn about legislation, to meet several legislators and hear from them, and then to walk the hill, if you will, sharing our concerns and our goals as a school district, and each one of the districts was tasked with doing that with their own legislative representatives and senators. And I certainly do appreciate the support from this board and for all of you who did attend. We do have an upcoming semi-annual conference again in Tampa, and that will be the middle of June. And that will be my last official act as president of the Florida School Board Association, since my term will end on June 30th. I also would like to do a shout out and recognize all the high school students and middle school students who participated in the April 7th All-County Band Concert. The Department of Fine Arts has done an excellent job again, as they normally do, in putting on these arts performances, and we heard some fantastic students, and all three of the conductors were just over the top in their congratulations to this district in its support of the arts. And they said we have a statewide reputation as a school district, and how strong we have been as a art supporting school board and school district. And those students really were able to demonstrate the fantastic experience they've had as students of music. And that was a great night, the All-County Band Concert. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. And now we go to public comments. And the first person that we have is Mr. Victor Chandler.
Since you made an offer to teachers of no pay raise, I thought I would go through what no pay raise is for different groups. First of all, for the superintendent, for you, and for senior management, no pay raise means that they keep the same salary schedule as the previous year. There's no impact on retirements or pay at all. Now, for teachers, you might think, well, they would get the same salary schedule. Well, that's not true. If teachers are given no pay raise, 1 year is added to reach the top of the pay scale. This decreases retirements for decades in the future. All but 2 numbers on the salary schedule are cut, and it usually takes a decade before all the numbers on the salary schedule of teachers goes back to what it was, say, last year. So they're not equivalent. So you would, in fact, as you know, gain a financial advantage if everybody was given no pay raise. Now, that's not the question. The question is, since they're not equivalent, does anybody have the responsibility and duty to tell taxpayers? Now, I don't know the answer to that. And if that's not for me to decide, that's not for you to decide. That would actually be something that would have to be determined in the court of law. Now, as far as the legal part, I can give you part of Statute 112. If a public officer or employee realizes or attempts to realize or obtain a profit, a gain, an advantage for himself or herself or for some other person through the use or attempted use of the power, rights, privileges, duties, or position of his or her public office or employment, shall forfeit all rights and benefits under any public retirement system which he or she is a member. What I'm hoping for is that one day that a pay raise for all groups of employees is the dollar or percent increase in the salary schedule. So that if they're given the same percent raise over a period of time, one doubles, they all double, which is not true now. I gave you 2 sheets. The first sheet just shows you a no pay raise for 1 year and 12 years. The reason I use 12 years is because you've already added 12 years to get to the top of the pay scale for teachers since 1990. And that is a huge impact on the retirements of teachers. The second sheet is just to show you the difference between the two. Now, I've given you that 4 times. I hope that you will take that and have it filled in so that you can understand the difference between the calculation of a pay raise for teachers and yourself or for senior management. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Sarah Fortney?
Yeah, I can see how difficult it is not having money to do things. My name is Sarah Fortney, and I am a science teacher of 32 years at Stanball. What I'm about to say may have an impact on your story for tomorrow if you got any press people here. At a previous board member meeting I attended, a board member, actually 2 of them stated publicly that they had not ever intended for contract negotiations to go to impasse. In fact, Mr. Townsend, I believe, was so opposed, he asked the attorney on how he could go about ending it. The attorney answered him, but Mr. Townsend wasn't really allowed to do what was suggested, as far as I could see. And maybe in that moment, a motion should have been given in the form of, Madam Chair, I move we go to an immediate public emergency session to discuss and possibly end the impasse. Therefore, I'm asking you in front of all of us tonight, in front of anybody from the Ledger covering this, I challenge this board to do this. It can then become a matter of public record on how each member of the board stands on this impasse, and it can be reported as such in the press. Any board member unwilling to make the motion, any board member unwilling to second the motion, any board member who votes against this emergency session, then puts on record that they are opposed to a contract for our employees. They will openly put on record that they are opposed to a raise and a fair evaluation system. and they put on record that they are in fact for the impasse we are currently in. And then by doing so, in tomorrow's edition of the Ledger, maybe the press can put forth exactly what's going to happen when the next election comes about for their seat. This information can be pulled up as a matter of public record at that point in time. With a public emergency session, we, the public, the employees, and the press can finally hear the true stance of our board. If you are genuinely opposed to this impasse, in this public emergency session, you can instruct your superintendent to go back to the negotiation table in good faith and provide a contract so desperately needed. Give Superintendent Byrd a deadline. In the past meeting, one of my colleagues provided you with data, facts, and statistics. Numerous people, both community members, PEA members, former students, employees, gave you personal, heartfelt reasons, yet you continue the impasse. You continue to lose our faith and trust. I have asked you to build a positive relationship in our district and simply do what's right. So who will make that motion? I will yield my remaining speaking time to any board member who is willing to do that. And please keep this in mind in your vote in 2018.
Thank you. All right, the next person to speak is Kelly Pietrangelo. I know I messed it up, I'm sorry.
Hello, I'd like to distribute.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Pietro D'Angelo.
All right. Thank you. All right, yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Kelly Pietro D'Angelo. I'm here to notify you that the Polk County School District is failing my son. My son has an IEP in place due to his health impairments. He also participates in the gifted program. Unfortunately, though, my son's IEP is not properly being implemented consistently and with fidelity, and he is suffering as a result. We have worked patiently and diligently with the school and district staff for years. In fact, we have attended more than 20 meetings in just the last 18 months in an attempt to collaborate solutions. I've provided to you multiple meeting minutes for you to review, and you'll notice in minutes as recent as April 19th of this year that the minutes indicate the school's failure to provide accommodations and services as outlined in my child's IEP. Following the procedures outlined for parents, we have reached out. We have reached out to classroom teachers, our child's school administrators, Donna Camp and Deborah Compton. We have reached out to program specialist Denise Santos, regional assistant superintendents Julie Grice and Michelle Townley, ESC Senior Manager Stephanie Gardner, Director of ESC Services Diane Taylor. We've also reached out to Assistant Superintendent of Learning Support, Dr. Kimberly Steinke. We have been in touch with Associate Superintendent Dr. Akes, as well as Superintendent Byrd. Previously, and as a last resort, we have requested due process on 3 occasions. Twice, we felt as though the situation had been resolved through the resolution process, and once through mediation. Unfortunately, the school continues to falter on what was agreed to during mediation, as well as in our meetings, and as what is outlined in my child's IEP. Just to mention a few roadblocks that we've encountered along the way, We've been told to vacate school grounds during a resolution meeting, or law enforcement would be called and we'd be arrested. Portions of our son's student record have been deliberately destroyed when we asked to review them. Our child has been repeatedly moved from teacher to teacher, not at our request, but at others, including his classroom teacher's spouse, a classroom teacher who admittedly falsified assignments and records, a teacher who submitted a physician's note requesting my child be removed in order to reduce her personal stress. The school administrator seems to continually minimize his disability while condoning staff's lack of implementation. We often receive retaliation from school staff when we do take a stand for our child. Our sole request has been for the school to provide accommodations and services
Mr. Bridges, can you and Mr. Byrd maybe get together and have some discussion on this, please? Okay, thank you. And thank you for bringing that before us. The next person is Mr. Larry Milhorn.
Good evening. Larry Milhorn, President of ASME, Local 2227. I wanted to speak here tonight because Mr. Harris said something in a work session today about the fund balance and the 5%, and how it was like a savings account that the school district wanted it to grow. And I understand that. I love to have rainy day money too, but I don't have it, because our raises in the past have not kept up with inflation. This year, it doesn't look like we're going to get a raise, so it's not going to keep up again this year. And for the savings accounts of our employees, they're going to dwindle. And I guarantee you, most of them will tell you that theirs have. Because with inflation, gas prices and other things, food prices, and all that go up, and the wages don't move, they take reductions in pays every year. When we don't keep up with inflation, and then we just go and I know it isn't all your fault, it's partly the state legislature, but there are things we can do here too locally to help the C that we get. For one thing, budgeting raises in steps. I've got people that, quality people, probably some of your best employees, ready to leave this district because they were promised steps when they came here, and they've gone 3-4 years without their steps. And they can go to the outside right now, especially in the trade fields, and make a lot more money than they're making here, even with the benefit package we have. There's something got to be done. Now, next month we go to the special magistrate. We'll be in front of them on our impasse. I still don't understand why we had to go to impasse myself. And I still don't know who decided why we went to impasse. But I do know one thing. We're going to start losing quality employees. The only ones we're going to have left are not going to be your quality employees. They're going to be the ones here for the ride, not the ones here to do the job. And that's going to be a problem for this district in the future. And if you want to grow this district, you need to keep them type of employees here. And that's not going to happen if we don't figure a way to do something with the financial package. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Milhorn. Mary Ann?
We're finishing on a theme. Mary Ann Capizzello, President of the Polk Education Association. We're at impasse. It's true. I'm not going to ask you to change anything at this point. Our hearing is May 11th and 12th. After that concludes, it'll go through its process and it'll come before you as a legislative body. And at that point, we'll have further discussion about the 16-17 school year. So what I want to talk to you now about is the 17-18 school year. Ladies and gentlemen, we should already be preparing bargaining for 17-18 because just once, before I die, I would like to see a contract concluded before the start of the school year. Just once, before I die, I would like to see this board step forward and in their budgeting conversations, talk about the fact that there are contract obligations that you agreed to, steps that you agreed to, and the fact is that, quite frankly, we hear lip service constantly about the fact, oh, yep, we need to start to look at that. What if we freeze you and then we talk about next year? Well, today we heard that the budget's bad. And we know that the state budget is always bad because we have legislators that don't care about public education. Sometimes legislators that I am confused to understand why I hear praise coming from you about them when they consistently vote against funding our schools. So, at the end of the day, there's always finite money. Always finite money. What has to happen is a prioritization of any dime that comes into this district. You need 1,200 new teachers for next year. You're going to need support staff to fill your positions. We are concerned about overstuffing of our classrooms. We are concerned about making sure we have enough non-instructional help to be able to assist those classrooms. We understand that there are a huge number of pressing priorities on your budget, but to consistently ignore or fail to plan for the fact that wages are going to gain and retain the staff we need for our students is fiscally irresponsible. To continue to not look or just say, well, it's Tallahassee's fault. You're right. That's the ballot box in 2018. But in the meantime, we're concerned about your staffing plan. We're concerned about the money you're spending, consultants you hire, the money that's not categorical that could potentially move through down to your employees. Where is the oversight to make sure that we are doing everything we can and maximizing every dime that comes into this district? That's our concern. Because it seems like, yet again, we're poised to go through another budgeting session where all of that is going to be blamed on Tallahassee and no prioritization is going. And we are not going to talk about the salaries that are going to gain and retain the people that move the primary mission of this district, which is educating our students. And if our students deserve the best and brightest, we need to figure out how we're going to provide that.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Bishop Mincy?
Our chairwoman, Ms. Fields, and all of the board members and our superintendent. It is good to see everybody here again. And I was listening to you, Mary Ann. My heart bleeds for our teachers. But I wished, and I said this to some of our board members, these men and women sit here I feel are very limited. I don't know what you feel, but I feel they're limited. And the people that, I think I said this to them, that we need is to get the people in Tallahassee to hear our cry. And I believe if we could gather all these teachers and people that are hurting to cry, when in the Bible, when the walls was tore down and Nehemiah gathered the people together, he came to the public officials and said to them, this is where we stand. Our gates are burned and city torn up and people are just in trouble. So I feel like that, yes, you all are in trouble, but the people that we voted for, just like we voted for these people on this board, we voted for them in Tallahassee, we ain't cried enough. We have not cried enough. We have allowed them and they are still, as Ms. Sellers just told us, they're still trying their best to cut. If you keep on cutting, where you gonna get it from? It comes from those men and women that we voted on in Tallahassee. And I've listened and I've been observing and I read the papers, and our Department of Education requires a lot of things, the state as well as the national. And I listen at all these monies they spend on these consultants and all these people they spend on this curriculum and all the things that they spending. Well, they got to meet the guidelines and the requirements that is, and I know that we need good teachers. I agree with you all. I think that would be, should be our priority, because our children, as superintendent, we oftentimes talk from time to time, and heart, I believe, is for our children. And our children, I believe these board members are concerned about our children. I believe our teachers are concerned about our children. But we also need to make sure that Tallahassee know we are concerned, and we demand that we're going to have some meetings with them in our area. We ain't going to Tallahassee. We need to meet them wherever they're at and say, sir, ma'am, you need to listen at what we got to say. We voted on you all to go up there and make some decisions to help our children, and what you all are doing is nothing but up there going through whatever you go through. And like you said, there's a division between the House and the Senate. These people need to I don't mean we need to go, people recognize numbers. They don't recognize 2 or 3 people call on the telephone. We need to get numbers of people and tell them we demand that they have a meeting with us and hear our cry about our concern for our children. That's my vote tonight for all of us. We need to get together, rally Polk County, and tell them we're tired of it. Our children.
Thank you, Bishop Mincy. Nothing else, this meeting is adjourned.